Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So I get a lot of people concerned about writing contracts. Uh, and you'd be surprised how many contracts, and I've literally written a couple contracts right on a napkin. Because a lot of times where I meet somebody to talk about a piece of property is at a restaurant or a Starbucks or, a cafe or somewhere. We have a cup of coffee. And what people don't realize, I mean, you can write a check. You literally can write a check on a napkin. A lot of people don't know that, but you can write a check on a napkin. You can write any contract, and that's what a check is a contract to pay somebody, right? So I want to give you an idea of how it goes down when you start really getting into investing. A lot of times you don't have time to think about it. You don't have time to go get a contract. Like the contracts that you'll generally see that a realtor provides, they're like 15 pages. And a lot of what they're providing is they're covering their butt, right? They call it a CYA, a lot of CYA statements or a CYA letter. I think you know what that means. Anyways, and so one of the things that you're going to find, because like I said, the main thing that I teach when it comes to making money with real estate and the way I've done most of my deals is I know value when I see it. So when I sit down with somebody to try to buy their property, I know what I'm going to pay for it. I know what I'm willing to pay for it when I sit down. And so what that means is, give you a typical scenario. You sit down at a cafe or you sit down at somebody's dining room table and they want to sell and you want to buy, right? And so you say, okay, what do you want for the property? And they tell you, let's just say, they say 120,000. You go, well, would you take 110? And they go, well, I really wanted 120. And you go, well, how about 110? And what if we closed it in 30 days? And they go, I do that. Okay, I do that. But maybe they'd say they do 120 if it was in 45 days, and maybe that's more appealing to you. So you go, okay, let's write it up. Let's write it down. Not write it up. I'm going to be careful about this. You're going to write a contract without them even really knowing it. But what you're going to do is write down what they agree to and what you agree to. So you have a piece of paper, right? Just like this, and this is pretty much how I go into a deal, except a lot of times I just have blank paper folded up in my pocket, right? And so what am I going to do? I'm going to say, okay, how much is acceptable? And let's just say they say, let me get a better pen. Let's just say, and believe me, as rough as this is how I sign contracts, and this is how I make deals. A lot of the times, not every time. You see me buy 4 or 5 homes through realtors. That's about being there first. But tonight I'm talking about getting contracts, getting their name on the dotted line, right? And so we say, okay, we agree on 120,000. So we say, what we write is, what I write down is I'm going to write sales agreement. It could be purchase agreement. It could be anything, right? So there you go, purchase agreement. And I'm not even going to show that to them at that point. I'm going to write, okay, we both agree, 120,000. And I'm going to write sales price, okay? And you can see that. Sales price, 120,000, right? Okay. And then we'll say, well, when do you want to close this thing? Well, I'd like to close it in 45 days. Well, I can do that. So 45-day escrow. See that? 45-day escrow. And I know it looks like hell, but guess what? Some people don't write even as well as I do. And it's still a contract. Ultimately, this is going to be a contract. And we go, okay, so 45 days, 120,000, and maybe I get them to carry some down. Sometimes it's like 120,000 in 45 days, period. I go find the money from somebody else. But sometimes maybe I get them to carry a note. And I say, well, how about carrying a note? Would you carry a note for 100 grand, 20,000 down? And they say, yeah, I do that. And well, how long will you carry the note? Could we do it for 10 years at 5%? And they say, yeah, I could do that if you can talk them into that. If you can't talk them into that, maybe it's just going to be a flat 120. But either way, you say, okay, I just want to make sure we understand each other. So you go ahead and write down here. You're going to write 20,000 down. Okay, 20,000 down right there. And we're going to say owner carries, that's important, owner carries 100,000 at 5%. And listen, today that's a little bit high compared to what you could maybe borrow from the bank, but maybe you can't borrow it. You know what? I'll tell you what. I don't even like borrowing. You've watched me the last 7 houses I bought. I paid cash for every one of them. I would never buy a house again finance. It is ridiculous. I mean, I can go borrow millions from the bank to buy a commercial property. They don't even really care what's on my credit report. They know I pay my bills, but I got some weird stuff. Somebody infiltrated my account and put something on Zales for $1,300. Anyways, my bank didn't even care about any of that stuff. But when you're buying a house, they care about that stuff. But anyways, back to the contract. Owner carries 100,000 at 5%. Okay, and then we'll say amortize. And I've told you guys, play with an amortization schedule. Look at it, play with it, play with the numbers. Look at the numbers, how they change. If you pay somebody more but less interest, or less with more interest, it makes a world of difference. You can frame your deal in such a great way that it'll be very, very profitable to you. So owner carries 100,000 at 5%. And now let's say over a 10-year term, or maybe over a 15-year term. So I'm going to write here over 15 years, and I'm going to write fully amortized. Okay, fully amortized means that from the time I start making payments on it, in 15 years it'll be paid off. So it's fully amortized, 15 years. Okay, now, some cases they say, you know what, I'd like to get paid off before that. I can go for that, and that sounds good, but I'd like to get paid off a little earlier. So we'll go fully amortized 15, all due in 5 years. So we'll write next, all due in 5 years. Okay, all due in 5 years. So what that means is we're going to amortize this loan over 15 years at 5%, but ultimately at the end of 5 years, 60 payments, I got to pay them off in full. Never be afraid of that. Never, ever, ever be afraid of that. It's worth more than what you're paying for it if you do it right anyways. It's worth more than what you're paying for it in the beginning. So at that point, you're going to, you're just writing the deal, and somebody else might even assume your position in this deal, and you may let somebody assume this contract for $20,000, and that's where you're going to make your money. But right now, I'm talking about structuring the deal that you're going to make, or you're going to assign for somebody else to take. So now, all due in 5 years. That's fine. So then the next thing is going to be title insurance. Well, customarily, the seller pays for title insurance because they ensure that you have clear title. It doesn't always have to be that way. As a buyer, I've paid for the title insurance many times, but probably 75% of the time, and really in the real world, almost 100% of the time, the seller pays for the title insurance because it's just customarily how it goes. They're making sure that there's clear title. Now, if they're carrying a note, there's not even a need to have the survey done. Now, if it's a big piece of property and you're worried about the boundaries, that's one thing. But if you're in a typical neighborhood where there's people live there for 30, 40 years, you know where the corners of that property are. I guarantee it. It's the fence line. Fence line in the back corners, front corners, same thing. So, all due in 5 years. So, really important. Listen, I've made millions doing this exact way. Okay, so all due in 5 years. So on the title, you might say, well, hey, customarily the seller pays the title. If they balk at it, or if you're worried about it, scaring them off, you just say, how about we just split escrow? We split escrow and title. And they say, oh, okay. So you write buyer and seller split title and, okay, look at that. Buyer and seller split escrow and title and escrow fees, okay? Okay, so you basically structured the whole deal here now. It's complete, okay? Now you wonder what those other 14, 15 pages are when a real estate agent prepares it for you. Well, a lot of that is to cover their assets, disclosures, it's all this stuff. Now the other thing that I always add in here when I buy something from somebody, because what I make perfectly clear to them is that I accept the property as is. That gives people tremendous relief. So I'll write here for myself, I'll write buyer accepts property as is, okay? The other thing I'll write is I'll say, because I always like to make sure that the title's got to be clear. So we just write contingent on seller having clear title, because that means you want to make sure there's no liens on it. You don't, you're going to buy it, but you want to make sure that especially if they're seller financing, they got to have it. They have to have it clear. Either way, the only contingency is that they can deliver clear title. That's the most important thing, because you want to flip it anyways. So look at that. Big fat marker, and I could have done this in a quarter of a page if I was typing it, or if I was just writing small with a pen. So in the end here, so what I do is I walk through this. So it's like I'm talking to the person. Let's recap this real quick. Hey, please like this video and hit the notification bell if you're interested. Also, my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's already the number one new release, whatever that means, on Kindle. A lot of Kindle people I found out there, more than paperback buyers. But please like the video, and please get the book. And if you already got the book, a lot of people have, it looks like, be sure to give me a good review. Anyways, so back to it. Review. We agreed to $120,000. I'm writing this down while I'm talking to the seller. 45-day escrow. We both agree. $20,000 down. We both agree. Owner carries 100,000% over 15 years, fully amortized. We both agree. All due in 5 years. We both agree. Buyer and seller split the title and escrow fees. We both agree. Buyer accepts property as is. I want him to know there's no problems, there's no hassle. All I care about is clear title. Last contingency. Only contingency. Contingent on seller having clear title or delivering clear title too. So delivering clear title. Okay. So now, so after I walk through this with him or her and they agree, I say, okay, well look, I wrote everything down that we said we'd do. Let's just go ahead and agree right now. And I write buyer and I write seller. And then what I do is I put an X by each. Okay, see that? You got buyer, seller. And so first thing I do is I sign for buyer, and then I turn it and I hand it to them. And I let them look at it, because they already agreed to sell it. They just agreed to everything. And I agreed to everything mutually that they agreed to. And now I turn it and I say, okay, I signed it. And now they go, oh God, I didn't know you were writing a contract. I say, yeah, I'm serious. I want to buy this property. And I prove it by putting it in writing. You know, one thing you'll hear me say a lot, and then I let them sign it. And then I take this document down to the title company. I make a copy of it, number one, and then I email it to them, and I email a copy to myself, make sure there's plenty of copies. Now I have an agreement, okay? I don't care if you're broke. I don't care if you have bad credit. If you have this signed and it's a good deal, finding somebody like me that has money is easy. You can call me, you can call somebody that's wealthy in your neighborhood, that's in your town, and say, look, I got a great deal on a property. And hopefully they're gonna be like my old buddy John Brooks, and they're not gonna wanna be your partner. They're just gonna say, here, I'll give you a check to go away. And they take your position, you assign it to them for a fee, $10,000, $20,000. You go away with a check. That's the best, okay? And that's really, if you're just beginning, that's what you really want to do. And anyways, so back to the scenario. That's it. I turn it on them. They sign it. We make a deal. We make a deal, and that's what's so important. So I think it's in my book. My book, you right now, like I said, it's already available, and it's doing well. Please get the book. It's only $9.99 if you buy it on Kindle. If it's paperback, I think it's $20 on Amazon. But I mean, that's how I made my first several million, and I continue to make money the same way with the same, really like what I just showed you here. And I got a lot more tips in the book than that. I mean, I've been doing it over 30 years, bought hundreds of properties, made tens of millions of dollars. It seems, when you don't know what it is, I get it. But just know that things are really rarely as we expect, right? Don't we? In general, I think we fear, we fear that things are going to be tougher than they are, and rarely are they ever as tough as we project them to be. So anyways, that's it. Anybody any questions? Anybody got any questions? Anybody got anything going? Any contracts? Any deals going? I'd love to hear about it. It's funny. I got a Miguel here that's been following me for a long time, and he emailed me, and man, he got a great deal. It was really, really a cool property. I don't want to give too many details away, but I walked him through and I helped him through, and I'm happy to help anybody through that gets in a pinch or it actually has a deal going. I don't want you to lose any deals. It hurts to lose a deal. I personally take it, it's to heart if I lose a deal, because I think I should be able to get every deal that I get near. But it does. They even slip for me sometimes. But the good thing is that you got that close to a deal. When you get close to a deal, and even if it gets away, it means you're on the right path. You're doing the right things to get there. And that's what's so important. It's working. It's trying. It's like when I see a garage sale, I stop. I don't care about the crap in the garage. What I care about is this person moving out? Do they own the place? Or is this person that's moving out a renter? I can contact the owner. I can take advantage of that situation. When somebody moves out of a house, whether it's the owner moving out or whether it's a tenant moving out, that is an opportunity for the owner of that property to sell. And many times I do want to sell at that time. So when you see a garage sale, I want you to look at a garage sale sign as, hey man, here's an opportunity. Find out if they want to sell, because that's what a garage sale sign means to me, and that's what it should mean to you. Let's see what we got here. I hope you write down the physical location and the legal description. Hey, thanks. Good point. Thanks a lot. Yes, we do write down the address. That's a good point. On the sales agreement, we always write down the address. Just write down. So we'll call it 1121. We'll call it something. We'll call it Region Lane. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that observation. So here we go. Put the address, the subject property, sales agreement, and the subject. You don't have to use a legal description, but an address is important. And thank you for pointing that out. That is critical. Thanks, Bill. Anyways, I may not have the best judgment at the moment, but that's how I've done it in the past. And anyways, it's just so important to trust yourself. And I want to talk about a little bit about, because I always do, is using your own personality. A lot of people are are so afraid that they think they need to know more than they do. Listen, just being honest, and even if you say, look, you know what, I've never bought a property before, but I really want to buy this, I like this, I know we can, I can go down to the title company, we can make this deal, you can carry the note. Don't pretend to be smarter than you are. It won't sell. It won't sell. It's almost better. Listen, we all love people that are enthusiastic. And the other thing is when you're negotiating and buying a property from somebody, let them know you like it. Let them know you like it. Don't beat them up. Don't say, oh well, this needs work and the roof is shot and this looks like crap, and you know what I mean. I remember one time I bought a house, and this is when I was younger, and they had a statuaries. Okay, that means they had little statues all through the backyard. They even had them in the front yard. I mean, tons of concrete statuaries. Well, they were really proud of these statuaries. And to me, I'm thinking, this stuff looks like crap. Okay, it's not my style. Okay, and we made a deal, and it was through agents too. And I said, well, look, I'll buy it. I made the deal, made the buy it. And then they tried to make me buy the statue. I go, and I probably would have been more gentle today than I was back then. I was a little younger and not as laid back as I am today, I guess. And they kind of wanted to push me to buy these. And I said, you know what? I'll give you $100 if you just take them away. Because I looked at them as junk that I was going to haul out of the yard, okay? And you got to be sensitive to other people. Now, we had already signed a contract. We made the deal. I bought it. I got it. Done. But I'll tell you one time, I decided I was going to get in the demolition derby. This in a little town outside of Los Angeles. I was going to be in the demolition derby. Well, I'm driving along and I look over and I see an old hearse, right? What hauls a coffin? Big car, like a giant station wagon, big enough to hold a hearse in the back. And I mean, those things were built, they were tough. And I'm like, man, that's the car I want. And so I pulled over and I get to talking to the folks, and we make a deal. We make a deal that I'm going to buy it for like $400 or something. And it was like a 1960s hearse or something. And man, I was excited. I was going to buy it and everything. Well, we made the deal, and I said, okay, hey, I'll come back day after tomorrow. I'll bring you a check. We'll make a deal. They said, okay, that's great. And well, they were telling me stories about using it like a camper and going across the country and all the great times they had in this hearse, right? And it was their camper, basically. And then just before I leave, I say, yeah, I can't wait. I said, I'm going to enter it in the demolition derby, and nobody's going to be able to knock this thing out. And now, in hindsight, I realize very insensitive. I'm about to take their, a very sentimental vehicle that they had, and I plan on just blowing every car, just beating it to smithereens, in a demolition derby. And so when I left, that was the last thing. I said, man, I can't wait. I'm going to put it in the demolition derby, and nobody's going to take this thing out. Well, when I came back 2 days later, the car was gone. I go, hey, what happened? I thought we had a deal. They go, Tom, you know what? We've had so many great memories in that car. And when we started thinking about that you were going to enter it in a demolition derby and just, and just trash it, we couldn't sell it to you. So my point is not everybody is motivated by the money, okay? They're not motivated by the money. They sometimes they care that they want somebody that buys their property to like their property. I looked at their property as a fantastic machine to just crush all my competition on the demolition derby. But same thing buying a property. When you buy somebody's property, like the property. Appreciate all the things that they appreciated. Appreciate the things that made them want to buy it when they bought it, okay? They care about those things. And even if you're going to buy it and flip it, you can still recognize the thoughtful things that they've done, the things that they've done. In the other case, like the statuary, hey, that's a beautiful statuary. Oh, okay, great. I'll give you another $100 or whatever. and then, you know, whatever, I'll let the next person have it or not, or if I have to haul it out before I sell it, I'll pull all the concrete statues and chuck them or whatever I got to do, give them away. So, very important, be sensitive to your sellers, okay? Just be sensitive to them. You know, they may have lived in that home for 60, 70 years. You never know. You know, I bought from a family, four sisters. They actually didn't get along very well. But I bought that property for $200,000 and I sold it for like almost $3 million. And one of the greatest purchases ever. But I listened to people's stories and I listened to what they have to say, and I held that one a long time. But that's it. That's all I'd say is just don't insult the people that are selling your property. And hey, be sure to like the videos. And again, go get my book if you haven't got it already. If you already have it, please go give me a nice review. I'd appreciate it. There's a lot of great information in there for not very much money. But anyhow, unless anybody else has got a question, I think I'll wrap it up. And that's about it. I'm going to send out another video here. I'm doing what I call a facelift on a large commercial property. Trying to get a liquor store in there right now. I've taken a couple of prospects over there, showed them the property. It may not have to be a liquor store. I got so much interest from other people. But what's beautiful is I took this old building that's 80 feet wide and 100 feet deep. It's 120 feet deep. It's an 8,400 square foot building. And I've built a facade around the front and basically two main sides and a little bit wraps around the other third and fourth side. But man, the visibility is awesome from the freeway right now. There's so much new created real estate, sign real estate, that is visible from a freeway that has 100,000 cars a day going by. It really is exciting. In fact, I'm inspired to go ahead and do this to maybe 2 or 3 other buildings that I have. It'll create better visibility and signage and that sort of thing, which signs sell. Let me tell you, a lot of times when I sell a property on a good thoroughfare, is I let them know, I say, you know what, for the payment that you're going to have on this building, that sign that you have on the front of the building, that's for all the traffic to see, that sign alone is worth $2,500 a month. So, and it's the truth. It's just the truth. So, hey, anyways, if there's no more questions, I guess I'll wrap it up. FlipAnythingUSA, be sure to share and subscribe. Hit the notification buttons. More participation in the live event, the better. And expect to share more live stuff with you here soon. And also some more interesting things. I've got a reverse 1031. I plan on doing. And basically with that, I'm going to borrow, you know, I don't know, $1.6 million to $2 million against one of the buildings that I own that I have paid for. I'm going to take that chunk of money. I'm going to go buy another commercial building with what we call an accommodator. Yeah, thank you. With an accommodator, and I'm going to buy that property. Then after I get that property, so I'll have cash ready to go, line of credit for $2 million. As soon as I see something great, I'll buy it. Maybe it'll be $2 million, maybe it'll be $1.5 million, maybe it'll be $2.5 million, and I'll borrow $500,000. Buy that, and hey man, how double G, glad to see you. And then I'll get that property. Then I've been telling you, I've been fixing up these last 5 houses that I have. They're worth about $2.5 million on average for all 5 together. And then it takes the pressure off me having to sell those and find something to move it into. Because I can buy this, I can let it sit in this person's name, I can take the other monies from these properties, I can set up the escrows so that they kind of close concurrently, and I'll roll it straight into this reverse 1031. I've made a couple offers here recently on buildings that are like $500,000 up to $2.4 million. I'm hoping I get one of those, or maybe all 3 that I've bid on here lately, and then I'll just roll those assets into that. It'll defer taxes, and that would be great. That's the goal, anyways. So, FlipAnythingUSA. Again, please share, subscribe, like if you like, and but man, get the book. If you can get the Kindle version, I highly recommend it, because then it's on your phone. if it's on your phone or Kindle device or whatever you got, you can always read it in your spare time. And it's very important. I've read a lot of motivational books, and I know that my stories motivate because they even remotivate me because I reflect on my past. I've made a lot of money in a really a pretty short time, and even my own stories motivate me. Okay, and they're real. They're real. Not everything I tell you is about firsthand experience, real deals, not theory. Because if somebody's teaching you how to make money in real estate and they've never done it before, it's a theory to them. It's a theory. It's not the real thing, and that's important, I think. Oh, hey man, thank you for the order. I appreciate it. Hey, please give me a nice review, a nice one. I appreciate it if you would. And oh, hey, I'll look for it. Bye, Los Angeles. Thanks, thanks. It's funny. I lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in different areas, and I've bought in Idaho and Texas and L.A. I've never bought more property than L.A. County. I bought property in Palmdale, Lancaster. I bought property in L.A. proper. I bought Blossom. I bought property in Kern County, which is just outside LA County. I bought property. Um, oh God, what's that lake? Maybe by Los Angeles. You know what I'm talking about? Uh, Lake Isabella. No, Lake Isabella. Actually, I had a bad car accident. Lake Isabella. Uh, oh God, it was Lake Elizabeth. Lake Elizabeth. Uh, I bought property all around Lake Elizabeth. I probably bought 60 lots. 60 lots around Elizabeth and Lake Hughes. Bought a nice commercial property in Lake Hughes. In fact, I bought it from an actor Paul Koslow. That's Paul Koslow, Koslo. Uh, he was kind of a nasty bad guy. He was in a lot of Charles Bronson movies back in the day. And I bought a nice commercial property from him. He owned a place called the Rock Store in Lake Hughes, where a lot of bikers would come in and park their bikes and eat lunch and drink beer, I guess. But I bought a nice commercial square down the street from him, and you know, it's just a lot of fun. One time I crossed Arnold Schwarzenegger in the properties I was soliciting, and I didn't hear from him. I never talked to him, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But I have seen Trump and Melania in the Beverly Hills Hotel as well. So, and I met his whole entourage, partied by the pool with those folks back in a long time ago when he had The First Apprentice. He was going up against Survivor, and I sat around the pool and I drank with a little blonde that used to sit at his table. Her name was Caroline, and her husband, which I think he's deceased now, unfortunately, uh, and but other people too. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Love LA, love the weather. It's amazing, and but my book, it's relative to anywhere, Canada. It's really anywhere in the world. If you can buy it, that's it. If you can buy it, you can flip it. You can buy it under market. You can make money, and those deals are out there. And even if a lot of people are like, it can't be that easy. It is that easy. It really is that easy. What's not easy is having, uh, you know, just incentivizing yourself to go to make it happen. You just got to make it happen. And like I say, you can go get my book for $10. That's nothing. That's nothing. My book, to write my book, it's taken millions of dollars to write, and I'm talking about millions of dollars in experience, not just money making, but I've lost money too, doing different deals. Oh, you're doing deals in Denver, huh? Wow. And you're in LA? Are you in LA? Since it's part of your name. Uh, yeah, I just took my kids to Denver about 2 weeks ago, just before Christmas. Flew into Denver and yeah, from LA. I just flew into Denver and I took I have 4 kids, but I took 3 of my 4 kids, and we went up to Breckenridge and we tobogganed and my boys snowboarded, and me and my daughter skied, and I'm just telling you, the life of an investor is like the best life in the world. You just can't imagine. It is. work and it is stress, and sometimes you have a headache. But in general, it is a great lifestyle, and it is a hell of a lot easier than working at a job that you don't like for your whole life. It really is. Oh, you go to Breck every year. Yeah, I love Breckenridge. It's just so damn convenient. I always stay at the Beaver Run Resort. I can walk out and ski right to the lift. Oh, nice. Yeah, Disneyland. My kids probably wouldn't go to Disneyland if I paid them anymore. It's just I've taken them there many times, Florida and California. But so, hey, uh, man, please, the $10 you pay me for a book means, I appreciate it. It's not for money, okay? It's not for money. But get the book. Get the book. You can get it on Amazon. $20 paperback, $10 Kindle. Just get it. The Kindle version I really think is the best because you can click on the links and it'll take you to a video. And I've made over 200 videos now. It'll take you to a video that's relevant to the subject matter in that chapter. That's important. It really is important. And so anyways, I'm gonna cut it short. Man, I appreciate everybody. Please hit that notifications button. I like it when people get in and ask good questions. It brings back memories of deals that I've done. And I know I could be gray. I'm not gray. I don't know. We don't turn gray. I'm gray on the inside, though. Believe me, I'm getting old, and I want to share as much as I can with you and my kids. And this is for my kids as well. I have twin boys, 16, and I have girls in their 20s. And they're the oldest one's starting to think, "Hey, Dad, I kind of want to get more into this real estate." And I'm like, "Well, it's about time." But anyways, just trust me, $10 is nothing. It's nothing to me, and it's really nothing to you. Uh, get the book, get the Kindle version, really, because then you got it on your phone. You got it with you all the time, and and watch anything that motivates you. Watch it. Anything that keeps you interested. And believe me, once you start making tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and then millions, uh, you will be impassioned. You will be motivated. And believe me, I have businesses now that I'm not so impassioned about anymore. But it's only because I'm so comfortable from all the money I've made in real estate that I'm like, you know what? That sounds too much like work. I don't want to do that. But what I don't mind doing is doing what I'm doing right now. When I go out of this world, I'd like to feel good that I helped other people achieve. A lot of people, they get what they want, and then they shut the door behind them on everybody else. That's not me. I don't want to do that. And I'm holding the door open, okay? I'm holding the door open for you guys that haven't made it yet, okay? And gals, okay? So, man, just trust me. Get into real estate, become an investor. It is the easiest way to become wealthy. And when I say easy, I don't mean it's like, nobody's going to hand it to you. Even me, I can't say, "Hey, here's a great deal, sign this and make a bunch of money." But I can tell you how to get there. And I can tell you what it takes, and I can tell you how I've done it. And that's the best advice you can get. So, hey, I'm going to go. Please like the video. And again, get that book if you don't have it. It's called Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Wake up and smell. Okay. Amen. Thanks, Patrice. I appreciate it. It's funny. Uh, there's a and he goes, I love the smell of foreclosure in the morning because we were making so much money off of foreclosure. But I thought it was a great line, and it stuck with me, so I thought I'd share. So hey, again, share, subscribe, get the book, whatever you do, just get the book. And you can go read the first few chapters free. Just read the first few chapters, okay? And if that doesn't get you rolling, you get you motivated, I don't think anything will. But hey, thanks, Conman 607. I love my followers. That's awesome. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great night, and we'll do it again here soon. Take care.